Today it is Amazing Spider-Man 188. Spider-Man ganning toe-to-toe with Jigsaw Man, John Kramer himself. Before I crack on, I want to do a public service announcement and let you know that the redhead in the film Jigsaw, the Saw prequel, oops, I just spoilt the twist. The redhead in that movie is art. This comic is written by Mark Wolfenstein and drawn by Neil Pollard. This first scene is set up for the next issue, and the only thing worth commenting on is that they placed it right at the start of this one. Spider-Man is visiting his frail and perpetually ill Aunt Tomei in the hospital, and she is internally and even externally fallen apart. The fossil will live to see another day, and unless you count her death that was retconned as being a very, very committed actress, she will remain alive forever. In fact, she more or less starts aging in reverse after the actress retcon. Our bad guy is notable because this is Punisher's arch enemy, but at this point he wasn't. Jigsaw Man was originally created as a Spider-Man bad guy, and this here is his second story. He had previously been introduced in Amazing Spider-Man 161, a two-part story where he fought Spider-Man, Punisher, and the Smurf from The Excellent Men. In that, they did firmly use him as a nemesis for Punisher within a Spider-Man story. Following that, and then this issue, he became almost exclusively a Punisher villain and one of Punisher's few recurring rogues. His backstory, and it has been changed a few times over the years. The idea is that his face is messed up from an encounter with the Punisher, which he survived. There have been a few variations where he has been directly tied to the massacre of Punisher's family, but the general agreed upon facts are that John Kramer was this handsome mobster boss man who got pushed through a glass window by the Punisher. His face got cut up by it, and so he got the name Jigsaw Man, and he has a personal vendetta against the Punisher for what he did to his face. Seeing him here as just a Spider-Man bad guy is interesting, and I quite like his little arc in this. He is afraid to commit crimes after his last story. He doesn't want to incur the wrath of any more superpowered heroes. So he is hiding away, and his crew think that he is a coward. To prove them wrong, Jigsaw Man plans a robbery, and it is on a cruise that Spider-Man is on. Is it just me, or does every heist in Spider-Man comics take place on a cruise that Spider-Man is on? We actually get a decent amount of character beats here. A lot of development with his supporting casts and continuing with ongoing subplots. Some people say Spider-Man has a strong supporting cast, but I will be honest, I am not one of those people. I love Mary James, I love Black Cat, who hasn't been created yet. I like J.K. Jonah Jameson, but the rest I can live without. John Kramer, Jigsaw Man, he and his crew board the boat and plan to rob everybody on it. Peter Parker slips away and transitions into his costumed identity. Spider-Man, if you didn't know. Jigsaw Man is obviously frightened by this and takes Liz Allen hostage to escape. I think this is a fun issue. It's not too demanding. It is a low-stakes threat, but I think it provides a pleasant, done-in-one story. I think the thing people really want me to discuss in this issue is the incredibly long letter by Kurt Busey, where he predictably says he is not impressed. He is not impressed by Mark Wolfenstein on Spider-Man. He was not impressed by Lenny Wen on Spider-Man. He was not impressed by Gary Conman on Spider-Man. You know what Kurt Busey is impressed by? Kurt Busey on Spider-Man, writing retcon stories set in the Silver Age. Stories that Spider-Man co-creator Steve Ditman told him he considered a personal insult to his work and to himself. And Kurt Busey then went ahead with them anyway. Kurt Busey also had his hand in that actress retcon. The reason I am not focusing on that letter for longer, when I really should, is because this is a fun Spider-Man issue. I didn't want to drag down a nice positive review by focusing on negatives. I didn't want to ruin this issue with the one stinking negative eating up the letters column. How many comics do I review and not mention letters in? Why should I give a piece of shit non-fanboy like Kurt Busey any time? Jigsaw Man, he feels a bit like a Batman villain in this. And it does feel like a different flavour to a lot of the baddies Spider-Man usually gangs up against. I definitely think there is room for more grounded Spider-Man enemies like this. Ones that aren't as much a challenge for Spider-Man as they are a threat to other people. So yeah, I think I really like this issue. Jigsaw Man is scared of Spider-Man and he starts becoming paranoid and convinced that Spider-Man isn't even a person. Then, in an unrelated subplot, Captain Marbles, the real one, Marvel, he delivers some hostess fruit pies to people in space. Somewhat jarring with this scene of a man having a freak out over Spider-Man. Really good. This bit where he admits he is filled with so much fear that he can't even shoot Spider-Man. It's all great. And that brings us back to the cover. The cover by David Cockburn. And having read the story, I appreciate the cover even more for capturing the idea of Jigsaw Man's personal terror. I like this because I am not Kurt Busey, and I like things. I rate this 7 thumbs up.